Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. There's something brewing in the NFL that has everyone talking, and it's not just about the game on Sundays. It's about the moves, the strategies, and how all of these pieces are coming together to shape the future of teams, especially the Washington Commanders. And trust me, what's happening right now could be a game changer for our team, for the NFC East, and really, for the entire league. So settle in, because I'm about to break down one of the most intriguing stories of the season. A story that involves a blockbuster trade, a rising star, and the kind of strategic moves that could propel Washington back into serious playoff contention. It all starts with a rumor that's gaining momentum among NFL insiders, and I mean insiders like Rossini, who always have the scoop. Word is that the New Orleans Saints, currently sitting at 1-5, are looking to shake things up, especially with their roster. They're in a position where they need to focus on rebuilding and managing their cap space, which is a critical factor in the NFL today. And it seems they're willing to part ways with some key assets. And one of those assets is none other than Chris Olave, the talented wide receiver drafted out of Ohio State in 2022. Olave has shown so much potential, and his numbers this season only reinforce that. In 2025, he's been a dominant force with a PFF grade of 84. Ranking him among the top 15 receivers in the league. He's caught 24 passes for 290 yards, averaging over 12 yards per reception with 2 touchdowns. That's not just good, that's elite-level production. And the advanced stats show that Olave is a true threat, especially in contested catches, where he's at 50%, and deep routes, where he's converting 46% of his targets. No drops against man coverage, and he's forcing defenses to respect his speed and route running. Now, imagine that kind of player landing in Washington, a team that's been hungry for a vertical threat since the days of McLaurin. The Commanders, sitting at 3-3, are in a position where they're clearly buyers, and adding Olave could be the spark that elevates their passing attack to a new level. With McLaurin potentially out with that quadriceps injury, which has kept him DNP since October 16, and other receivers like Brown, Samuel, Armstrong, and Jackson all dealing with injuries or being on IR, the need for a game-breaking receiver is clearer than ever. Olave could immediately step in and help boost the offense, especially when you consider the projections that have him reaching 0 yards and around 8 touchdowns this season. That's big, folks. It would be a significant upgrade, and it could change the way the Commanders attack defenses. But of course, there's a catch. The Saints, currently sitting in a tough spot, need cap relief to build for the future, especially with the quarterback situation potentially in flux. They're looking at their options, and trading Olave for draft capital or other assets could be a strategic move to free up around $12 million in cap space. That money could be used to bolster other areas, like their defensive line or offensive line, which has been leaking sacks this season. They've allowed 30 sacks, ranking 29th in the NFL. The Saints need to focus on protecting their young quarterback, Rattler, and building a more balanced team. Now let's talk about the strategic implications of such a trade. For the Saints, they're essentially tanking for a higher draft pick, focusing on developing Rattler and building around him. That means they might see Olave as a valuable trade chip rather than part of their long-term plans. The risk, though, is that their offense might take a hit, dropping about 12% in EPA per pass, similar to what we saw with the Dolphins after acquiring Hill. That's a significant hit, and it might slow down their offensive production, making them even more of a seller at the deadline. But for the Commanders, this is where the opportunity lies. Olave, with his projected 0 yards and 8 touchdowns, could be a true X-factor, especially in the playoffs. His YAC yards after catch ability is among the best in the league, and he's proven to win contested routes at a high rate, which is crucial in tight games. One of the most exciting aspects of this potential move is how Olave could fit into Washington's passing attack. With Sam Howell at quarterback, who's been showing flashes of development, having a deep threat like Olave would be a perfect complement. Howell's passing yards per game could see a boost from 215 to around 260, and the offense's EPA per pass could jump by plus 17%. That's a huge improvement. And when you compare Olave to other top receivers, like C.D. Lamb of the Cowboys, who's been thriving this season, you realize how much of a difference a player like Olave can make. His deep targets are winning at a 65% rate, and he's been instrumental in boosting teams' QBRs in the past. The Commanders could finally crack that top 10 pass offense mark, which has been a goal for quite some time. Now, let's not forget the defense. While this trade focuses on adding a weapon on offense, Washington also needs to manage their injury situation. McLaurin's quad injury has been a concern, and with Brown, Samuel, Armstrong, and Jackson all dealing with various injuries, the team needs to be strategic about how they deploy their resources. But the addition of Olave could elevate the entire offense, making the team less predictable and more explosive. And with the odds for the Super Bowl dropping from plus 6,000 to plus 3,000, it shows how much this kind of move could shift perceptions around Washington's chances. The NFC as a whole is competitive, but with Olave, the Commanders could become one of the league's most dangerous teams in the second half of the season. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade could be the turning point that pushes Washington from a mid-tier team into legit contenders. Olave's YAC and red zone efficiency, especially against man coverage like the Cowboys' use, would give Howell a reliable target in critical moments. Plus, the team's offensive line needs to continue improving, but with the added threat Olave provides, defenses might have to dedicate extra resources to cover him, opening up more opportunities for other players like Brown or Samuel. This kind of strategic move is exactly what the Commanders need to take that next step. It's a bold move, but sometimes, to win big, you have to make bold choices. And for the Saints, this is a clear signal that they're in rebuild mode, focusing on the future rather than immediate success. Tanking for a higher draft pick and freeing up cap space shows that they're playing the long game. It's a smart move when you consider their current struggles and the need to build a more balanced roster around their young quarterback. But for Washington, this is an opportunity to strike, to add a player who can immediately impact their playoff push and help them compete at a higher level. The NFL is all about these kinds of moves, bold, strategic, and sometimes risky. But if they pay off, they can define a franchise's future. As we look ahead, the impact of Olave in burgundy and gold could be felt all the way through the postseason. The team's offense could become more dynamic, more explosive, and more difficult to defend. The odds for the Super Bowl, which are already improving, reflect that potential. From plus 6,000 to plus 3,000, the betting world sees Washington as a much more viable contender now. Olave's YAC, deep threat ability, and consistent route winning make him a perfect fit for what the Commanders need. It's a move that could elevate this team from good to great, and it's exciting to think about how this story will unfold in the coming weeks. So, what do you guys think? Is this the move that finally pushes Washington into that upper echelon of NFL teams? Can Olave be the piece that unlocks the full potential of Howell and the offense? And what does this mean for the NFC East, already one of the most competitive divisions in football? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below. Tell me what you think about this potential trade and how you see the future of the Commanders shaping up. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates, analysis, and breaking news. So stay tuned, keep supporting the channel, and let's keep this passion for Washington Commanders alive and thriving.